This is a quick road test of a Toyota Yaris. This is a 1.4 diesel. Car's registered GP03XGJ. Mileage at the start of this road test is 59,154 miles. Reason we now do these road tests is just to give a bit of reassurance to those who may be coming a distance to us that the car you're coming to see drives as it should, or if there's any issues I can tell you about them before you make the trip to us. We're basically selling now to people all over the UK and the near continent. We just want to give that extra reassurance to you if you're going to make the trip to us, just to know that the car you come to see drives as it should. And if there's anything I need to relay back to you, I can at this time to you. What I try and do as much as I possibly can is kind of mimic what you would do yourself in a road test, and that's just to go through the items one by one and start with the engine, sort of clutch, gearbox, that kind of stuff, and then I can just feedback anything I get. So starting with the engine starts straight away. Good little engine, pulls well, is nice and smooth and quiet on the move. There's no warning lights on for the car on the dashboard at all, and it has plenty of poke to it, to be fair. It goes very nicely indeed. The clutch on the car is fine. It bites really well, sort of in and out of the gears without any issues at all. There's no vibrations through the clutch pedal, and the clutch pedal itself actuates very, very smoothly indeed. Gear change is pretty much a given on the Yarises. He's got a lovely gear change. The Japanese do this ever so well. Very slick. I'm just changing for effect now, but it's very, very easy. The synchro mesh feels good in every gear. The gear linkage is it's as tight as a drum. We should expect, given the mileage of the vehicle, which is very, very low indeed for the age of the car. Car actually rides very nicely. We sell predominantly Japanese cars, and its main competitor would be one of our favourites, and that's the Honda Jazz. And this rides a very similar way. Actually, it's got a nicely engineered feel about it. I can't particularly feel any obvious wear on the chassis of the vehicle that manifests itself in sort of any knocks or bangs from underneath the car. You can hear it go over the bumps, but in the right way. You're not going to get sort of clonks or bangs suggesting that there's any track rod ends or anything, because that's a nasty little bump there. So just listening out for them, but there is nothing at all really. Also, while I drive at speed, kind of listening out for sort of any sort of wind noises or otherwise coming through the car, which may suggest you've got like a windscreen not fitted right or a seal broken on the car, but there is nothing. It's actually very, very quiet here on the move. As I said, as I look at the dashboard now, obviously the pod's angled towards me, this kind of lovely little hologram effect. There's no warning lights on the car relating to the engine or anything else for that matter. Very nice, easy to read screen there. That also, the screen's completely clear. There's no scratch marks on it. But the whole interior, in terms of the dashboard here, is in very, very nice order. There's no obvious signs of wear. I mean, I'm sure if you look closely, there'd be a little mark where someone scuffed it somewhere. But given the fact we haven't even cleaned the car at this stage, it bodes well for what the valeter can do with it when it is all cleaned up. Brake pedal on the car, touch of brakes, lovely and solid, really are. The nose dives down nice and straight, doesn't deviate right, left or otherwise, again, which would suggest sort of caliper problems or a shock absorber issues as well. But it brakes very, very well indeed. Steering's nice and precise. I can't feel any particular vibration other than what you'd expect through the vehicle. So probably the only criticism that some people would do it, I couldn't be bothered myself, but I'd say the steering wheel, the tracker may have been adjusted at some point, and the steering wheel just slightly to the right. But something someone may want to get done. But that's the whole point of this road test. I will pick up on even the smallest things, hopefully. It doesn't sort of, there's no issue with it. It's just it's just one of those things. Every button I pressed thus far on the car has worked well on the car. The electric windows on both sides work perfectly well. Switch gears, obviously just typical Japanese. It's just very, very high quality indeed. But clearly, I mean, these, the little diesel ones, the reason they're about is to, you get quite amazing economy out of them. But that tends to be, what you get is dictated by where you live. If you're in a town, you're not going to get as much as someone out here in the country driving on quiet roads like this. Actually, that brings me to another point. After 15 years of being in Bristol, we've now moved just north of Bristol itself, only a few miles, with a huge sigh of relief. The problem with Bristol was the test drives was always on busy city roads, and that would, it was quite intimidating for people coming and driving a car they hadn't driven before. Whereas here, this is about as busy as it gets. This is a Friday afternoon, and it's, if this was Bristol, you wouldn't be moving. Here it's just lovely, relaxed. You take the car out yourself, and if you're interested in buying the car, obviously you'll have the test drive, but you'll be doing it on these lovely quiet country roads. And our new site is literally, it's less than a minute on one road off the motorway, just off junction 14 of the M5, so it's infinitely easier to get to us than the last place, which any time after 4 o'clock was a nightmare for people, and became more so over the years. But this is it's a lovely tranquil site. But all in all, I'd say I can't really, if I could sort of criticise anything, I would on the car. There's nothing sort of fundamentally in terms of the car, the way it drives, that should be any cause of concern to anybody. In fact, it drives very, very well indeed. They, as I said, they're a high quality machine, and we tend to sell newer cars. This one came in on part exchange, but the older Japanese stuff, we're happy still to put a warranty on. At internet price, you get a 3-month warranty, because they're tough vehicles basically. I hope the video has been of help to you. If there's anything clearly I've missed out on the video, then please do contact us, and we'll be more than happy